frequency, but on some other motherboards it's called BCLK frequencies. You know, it's all depends, and I'm gonna explain to you all what that means. You need to have ability to change the frequencies on PCI Express. You need to have ability to change the frequencies on QPI. You need to have ability to change the V-core frequency, V-core voltage. You need to have ability to change the DIMM voltage and ability to change the CPU VTT voltage as well. That's for socket p55, 1156, and for overclocking i7 800 series. You need to have ability to change the memory frequency, and it's located over here, but sometimes it's located on the same window. And you need to have ability to disable C1E support, to disable Intel Speed Step, to disable Intel Turbo Mode, and to disable Intel C-State technologies. All those technologies during the overclock need to be disabled. Alright, since right now this is the i7 860 and the stock frequency is 2.8, but with the turbo mode it's 2.9, because the turbo mode activating the extra multiplier, and instead of 21, as you can see, we have the 22. Alright, so let me go ahead and explain to you all the those main features that we need to have on our motherboard socket p55, and let me go ahead and explain all the terminology of those features and what it's all about, which is very important for the overclock. Okay, CPU multiplier is basically a multiplier that multiplying by BCLK frequency, or in this case by CPU frequency, to make the external clock of the CPU. So as we can see, our CPU frequency is 133 and the multiplier is 22, so our frequency equals to 2933 megahertz. If we will set our frequency to 140 by 21, we're gonna receive 3 megahertz. 3000 megahertz, which is 3 gigahertz. As you can see on top, you can see it. But before we're gonna go ahead and change those frequencies, we need to go and find where we can disable, find the window where we can disable C1 support, Intel Speed Step support, Intel C-State Tech. We need to disable that as well. So all those three, C1E support needs to be disabled, Intel Speed Step needs to be disabled, and Intel C-State Tech needs to be disabled. Intel Speed Step is like a turbo mode, and when it's enabled, basically it's unlocking the extra multiplier on a 800 series i7s, as well as on a 900 series i7s. So it needs to be disabled, because when we're gonna run at higher frequency, accidentally, if we're gonna unlock an extra multiplier, we can crash and we can have the instability. Alright, so it's not gonna be stable. So we need to make sure they're disabled, then we can change the frequencies. And if you're running the stock cooling, heatsink and fan that come with the box. The maximum frequencies, I suggest you to go with 166, and don't go above that. You can use 21 multiplier. Set your PCI Express frequencies to 100. It's the frequency for your video card PCI Express slot. It needs to be at 100. You can also set it in 102 or 104, but it's good to have it at 100 synchronized. QPI, you can leave it another. Then vCore, you need to set to 1.325, 1.325. DIMM voltage, you need to set at 165. Boot up CPU VTT, or on some other motherboards it's just going to be VTT voltage. You need to set at 1.4, and I'm gonna set, since this motherboard has ability to set two different voltages, so I'm gonna set boot up and conventional CPU VTT at 1.4 equally. But on other motherboards it's probably gonna be just one CPU VTT voltage. Okay. CPU PLL, I'm gonna set to 1.875 volt, and everything else I'm gonna leave it stock. And after I'm gonna go ahead and save and restart my computer and see if it's stable or not, I need to also go memory configuration and see at what DRAM frequencies my memory running. And over here it's good to have it at, as you can see, if I'm gonna click at 1333 megahertz, and if my memory is 1600, it's going to be fine, because the real frequency is going to be 1666 megahertz. So keep this in mind. It's going to be higher than it's pre-designed, because we're overclocking our BCLK or CPU frequencies, and it's also overclocking the memory frequencies on the board. Automatically it's pushing a little bit higher the divider, because the CPU frequencies or BCLK frequencies higher, the real frequencies of the memory is higher as well. So I know that I'm having 1333 megahertz, let's say I have the cheap memory DDR3, so I need to set it at 1067 megahertz, and my real frequencies will be 1333 megahertz. This is very important. You need to make sure that you're gonna have this just like that. You're not gonna pass above you're not gonna pass beyond your manufacturing frequencies on your memory. Otherwise overclock will be unstable and can crash. It's good to keep DRAM at auto unless you know your memory timing, and you can set it. Frequencies 133300, it's good to keep at auto. If you have 1600, you're welcome, go ahead and check the sticker on your memory, and it's gonna say the timings, and to input those timings over here. If you don't know how to input those timings and latencies on the memory sticker, go ahead and click on auto. Alright, so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna click escape and we're gonna go and click save changes. I'm gonna click OK. It's gonna save the changes and it's gonna restart the computer with a 3.5 gigahertz, which is safe for the stock heatsink and cooler that came with the box. Do not push beyond that. I'm not suggest you to push beyond that. Those frequencies are stable and will result in a nice temperature. Do not, then you can see in BIOS on advanced motherboards we have the ability hardware health configuration. If you're gonna click in here, you can see your CPU and system temperature sensors. Do not let pass your CPU over 95 Celsius. Everything beyond, everything that below 95 Celsius I consider as safe after 7 years of overclocking CPUs. And for the i7s, 800 series and 900 series, 95 Celsius and everything what is lower than that are the safe temperature. Alright, you can also see your voltages as well. So we just learned how to overclock at the safe parameters and have the safe overclock even with the stock heatsink. Alright, boxed one that came with the box. Alright, let's say you purchased a expensive heatsink or even the water cooling setup or heatsink like from Corsair, as I have it over here. It's H50, which is nice. Or you have like Venomous Thermalright or something like this, very expensive heatsinks, or Noctua, which is nice brand as well, and you want to push it more. Well, let me tell you that it's gonna work for sure. You just set it to 180 180 186 84. You just set it to 184, and since I have over here 2200 on the memory frequency, 2200 megahertz, I'm safe at 1476, so I even don't consider my frequency on the memory. My memory is very high on the frequency by 21. 3.8 or 182 will be safe if you're having a nice aftermarket third-party heatsink and cooling. Then, like H50 by Corsair or Noctua products or Thermalright products. Then you need to go down